One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
Okay, so I've just finished watching the documentary on Netflix, which is American Murder, The Family Next Door. And this is about a documentary about the Watts family. And it is actually real life. I wasn't sure at first whether it was real life, because I'm from County Durham in England. Like, this happened over in America. So I had to Google it at first just to see if it was actually real, what I was watching. So I went into this completely blindsided. I didn't know anything about the story. So what I was watching is, I didn't know what had happened to the family. I didn't know who murdered the family, if they'd been kidnapped or what. I went into this just completely not knowing anything about it. So I have to say, I thought the documentary was done really well. They've used all types of body cams, CCTV. They've used social media, their own videos. And it starts off and it sort of builds up about what Shannon and her husband and the family were all about. Basically showing them as a happy family at first, like holidays and watching football. So basically this is going to have lots of spoilers in, probably, because I am actually going to talk about what actually happened. I mean, obviously, if you're watching in America, you probably know a lot about the story anyway through the news and media, which I just hadn't seen over in here in England. So kicks off the story of them sort of being kidnapped by a friend that dropped her off in the morning because she'd been away for business. And she'd been away and she came back at 2 a.m, got dropped off at her friend. She'd been on a flight and stuff like that. And her friend had rang her up the next day and just getting no answer at all. She was meant to have a doctor's appointment or something like that. And so she was at the house, she's banging on the door, she's saying she can't get in touch. And then they ring the police to say that this isn't usually like her, and then the officer comes. And like I say, all this bit is filmed through the police officer's body cam. So he's filmed, it's all just live footage off there. And like I say, I didn't know exactly what happened. And the husband turned up. I didn't know it was the husband at the time. And he turned up and said he had the code to the door. So they let the police officer in, and like the whole house is immaculate. But he's acting as if he doesn't know what's happened and thinks that maybe Zarsh has just gone out. But they find her phone and everything. And the way he is, the documentary is basically a look into a killer's mind and how he is trying to sort of trick everyone into thinking that he hasn't done anything wrong. So it builds on from this moment. And he's doing certain little interviews with the media, just saying that he wants his family back and stuff. But it always keeps switching back to like social media footage of how they went away to a family member's house and they were there for a couple of weeks. I think she was there before him and he flew out. And it showed loads of text messages that she was sending her friends. It had all of her text messages and social media messages that she was messaging her friends, saying basically that the marriage isn't as happy as everybody thinks it was, and that the relationship was falling to bits, and all he cared about was doing his bits of training and didn't care about her and the family anymore. And I think they'd been together for about 8 years, and they'd always been, for what I gather, a close-knit family, because it starts off and she says she had like a bit of a miserable teenage years, and how this is the guy that had saved her from she was in a bit of a depression, and this is the guy that saved her from this depression. And then as it moves along, like I say, I went into this, I wasn't sure what happened. I remember a part where they go to the next door neighbour to have a look at his CCTV, and he's saying like he's not right, but everyone's just sort of thinking, well, his family's missing, like of course he's not going to be all right. But he's not all right. He's shaking, and he's not his normal self, that he doesn't talk much. And into the documentary, it it shows you the footage from the CCTV when he's actually in the police station getting interviewed, and he agrees to take a polygraph test. Where obviously, if he knows he's done it, like you're thinking, why did he take the polygraph test unless he thought he could maybe pass it? I don't know. But he took the lie detector test and completely failed it. And then he was adamant that the lie detector test was wrong, that he hasn't done anything, he doesn't know where his family is, he hasn't disappeared. But it comes out that he was actually having an affair. You know, part of the way through, he was saying, he's not seeing anybody else and all this type of stuff. But the look of sort of calmness on his face as he's looking at them, it's how he can just lie like that is unbelievable to me. So he's in, after they're taking the polygraph, the woman comes back and says, "We know you're lying. Where's your family? We know you're lying. Where's your family? Where's your family?" And then he starts crying a little bit and gets his dad to come in. And this is where he tells his dad just another massive lie, saying that it was Shannon who smothered the kids, and he stopped it by killing her. And just, but then what I thought was brilliant is the guy police officer in the back, he was like, "Well, we're sort of almost at the truth, but we're not quite at the truth yet. Oh, we're nearly there." He's like, "We've got about 90% of the truth, but we're nearly at the truth." You could see he knows that this guy has killed his family. And the pure evilness of this guy to be able to do that. I mean, she was pregnant as well. His wife was actually pregnant. I think like about 4 or 5 months or something like that. She was pregnant. And he goes on to kill his pregnant wife and kill the 2 kids. Now, I was watching the documentary. I wasn't actually sure how he killed his kids, but apparently I've just watched on YouTube just before I've started video on this, is that he smothered each one, and then I knew he threw them into the oil tanker, but I didn't know if he actually killed them before he put them into the oil tanker. But he actually did. He smothered his 2 kids and put them in to an oil tanker, and then his wife was already dead and buried her apparently near to where he works. So when he finally admits to it all, and that, I mean, I think as far as I can gather, he was trying to get rid of his family so he could go and build a new life. I mean, obviously, if you're going to do that, you walk away and you get a divorce. You don't have to kill your family, do you? But he's killed his wife. He's killed his 2 daughters. And apparently he rang the school straight away the next day, unenrolling the daughters from the school or something like that. So it goes on to the court case, and you get all the live footage from the court case as well, showing all the evidence, and obviously he gets found guilty. I think this happened back in 2018. And he's serving, he's going to serve the rest of his life in prison. But there was the girl he was with, and she says that she didn't know anything about it, but obviously you don't know. I mean, I would assume she's just met some guy, and I mean, you don't know, do you? Like I say, the documentary was done really well. It built up the family sort of at the start. You got to know them. And then, obviously, by the third act, you should say, it all comes together that it is him who's actually killed his wife and killed his 2 girls, and with her being pregnant as well. But I wouldn't say I would recommend to go and watch this, because obviously it's true life, based on actual real events. It's quite raw as well, because it's only just happened in 2018. But I think it has been given the blessing of the family. And I read on Google that the brother of Shannon wants everybody to go and watch it. Suppose even if it just gives somebody something to look out for, so it doesn't ever happen to them. I mean, these sort of things seem to happen all the time, and humans never seem to learn just how to walk away from a situation. like I say, it is good how they've used all the CCTV footage, the body cam footage, pinch photos and text messages off our social media, off our phone, and build it all up into a sequence of events leading up to the unfortunate death and leading to him going to prison. And another thing that, well, in the documentary that just completely infuriated me at the end was his mother was given a statement in the court, and she turned around and just said, "I forgive you." Like, how can even if she did forgive him, don't be putting that in your statement, saying it live for everybody to hear. Like, nobody should be forgiving him for killing 2 girls and his pregnant wife. Nobody, not even his mom. But like I say, the documentary, if you watch it, it'll hit a nerve. It's hit a nerve with me. And I don't know whether to recommend, say, go watch it or not to go and watch it. But if you're into real life sort of true crime, it probably is worth you going to watch. If you're in America and you have followed the case and you want to know more about the case, then yeah, go and watch it. But I will warn you that it is brutal, some of the descriptions that you hear of what this guy has done. So anyway, I'm Mark, and this is For the Love of Movies. Thank you, and goodbye.
Like an angel on your shoulder, see? And if you ever get hurt, and you feel that you're going down, this little angel is going to whisper in your ear. He's going to say, "Get up, you son of a bitch! Because Mickey loves you."